The different DDR processes can be separated into three generations. Regarding the first generation, that is, traditional DDR programs, we note the impact of the end of the Cold War, which provided an overview of the application of assistance measures in the transition process in the post-conflict period. At this stage, the objective was to reduce the number of conflicts through the elimination of non-state armed groups through actions such as cantonment and the provision of benefits to motivate combatants to demobilize. In the early 1990s, the United Nations focused on developmental approaches but had not yet focused on issues such as child soldiers, female soldiers, and combatants affected by AIDS. There were first peace agreements involving armed groups already developed and defined, and then the implementation of the DDR processes took place. Furthermore, the UN also used this type of separation and argued that in the second generation, the international community focused more attention on the relationship between DDR, economic measures, and security sector reforms. In the publication Integrated Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Standards of the United Nations Interagency Working Group on DDR, aspects related to security sector reform were addressed to be considered by DDR processes such as child soldiers, gender, and health. In this generation, programs emerged to deal with certain scenarios, such as in cases of ongoing conflicts or ineffective peace agreements. In addition, there was difficulty in delimiting who are the citizens without involvement in the conflict and who are the combatants. There was no implementation of DDR right away due to the focus on creating responses to the ongoing events of that period. In the third generation, also called by MUGGAH and DONOHUE as the next generation, a new decade of DDR processes begins, marked by approaches influenced by the programs already carried out by disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. During this period, questions arise about what should be done with combatants who chose not to participate and how those who have returned to society can gain acceptance from communities. For this, intervention measures were adopted in which the government used military force to deal with situations of violence carried out by armed non-state actors. With that, the more voluntary aspects seen in the previous processes were replaced by the use of force to guarantee the objectives of the state. DDR is also increasingly associated with peace negotiations and operations and security sector reforms.